stories from when I've performed. So, I think I want to start at the very beginning when I started performing again. So, early in my life, I did a little bit of performing, but um, I, I think ballet, tap, jazz kind of situation, but I didn't really have a great like support system or ways to kind of get there and things like that. So it kind of went underground for a lot of years, and I didn't think about it again at all. I did not think once. I would love going out, like, I would go out and dance and stuff like that, and I kind of enjoyed it, but mostly I loved dancing, but I didn't really like, the people all around me and all that stuff. So I want to talk about that later. But anyway, so later down the line, I'm kind of getting into the back story of how I started performing again, and then I will talk about my very first performance. And my very first performance was actually in belly dance as an adult. Okay, so right after COVID, I think, right after COVID. Um, so 2021. I I think I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to take a belly dance class. I remember waking up really early in the morning and Googling like belly dance class. So I started taking, local belly dance classes. I didn't think a lot about it. I just thought like something just, it just a thought. And then I went on to the class and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm here. And I had so much fun. I knew that what I was doing was spiritual at that time. So I felt great. I felt like I was healing, healing myself. I felt like it wasn't just dancing. It was much more than that. I felt like I had found a piece of myself. And I didn't predict going on, like I thought one class, okay, sure, yeah, I'll take one class. And then the next week, I knew I wanted to go back after the first class, but I didn't expect to continue going. So at the end of the semester, I decided to go ahead and perform in the recital. And like you get to opt in or opt out. This is totally up to you. So I decided to do it. And I'm with a fantastic group, an amazing instructor, and my heart is pounding. I can barely breathe. I'm trying to play it cool. I'm trying to play it cool. And I've got like a smile on my face and everything, but I am like I'm just shaking. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't need to do this. Why why am I even doing this? If this is causing me so much pain and like it's literally terrorizing me. I'm terrorizing myself right now. Anyway, but it felt so great to be there for my like classmates, and I felt proud of myself. I felt proud of everybody else. I felt like I could breathe again. Like I felt like I had reached a new level, and I actually enjoyed performing. And I thought, okay, all right, like I liked it. I like this. I like it all. This is a lot of fun. And so I kept performing and kept dancing and things like that. So that was belly dance. So I'm going to skip over to burlesque. So with burlesque, um, I had gotten into it, and I had, let's see, I had gotten into it, and I was in like a kind of like a dance group. And we're in a dance group and it's kind of like just like more modern dance and it was so much fun. And um that was kind of getting me out of my shell a little bit. We'd go to places and just kind of do our little numbers and it was super cute, And so I was aware of the whole process of burlesque, the glove peel and that thing. I was still kind of learning. I was doing a lot of research at that time. I was watching a lot of documentaries, but I still hadn't had any moments on stage where I had a full reveal. So, in the little dance group, we weren't really doing full on reveals because these were more like public events and things like that. So I was getting out of my shell, but even those, I was, still feeling really nervous, still feeling just a lot of pressure and just like, can you remember your steps? And um, I personally do love choreography, but I'm just now learning how to, choreograph and things like that. But anyway, so we're getting closer and closer to the moment where I am having a reveal. So I was super fortunate enough to get in with a group and we did a group act. And that is something I will never, ever, ever forget. So we're practicing, we're putting in work. When I say we're putting in work, we're putting in work. We're rehearsing and we're trying our best. We have this audience. I don't know how many people were there that night, but over 100. Over 100. There were quite a few people there that night at the final performance. So we're rehearsing, and it's four of us. And I think for two of us, it was our very first time. So, we're kind of like, oh my God, what do we do? Like, we're freaking out. We're freaking out. We don't know what to do. Like, oh my gosh, freaking out. So we're like, oh my gosh, can we do this? Like, we want to do it. We want to, but we're so nervous. The whole palms are sweaty, like the whole thing. Like, we're just like nervous. And we're like, okay. But having the other friends with us, so it was four of us. So having the other um, people with us made it so much better because they were like, you got this. And I mean, everybody was so supportive. Like, everybody was so supportive. So here's the moment, the moment. And I think I was actually the first one to go out. So I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's me. And I had already peeked out into the crowd, like I wanted to see. And then, like, there's so many people out there. And I'm just like, okay, okay, come on. Like, you can't mess up like this. You can't, like, you literally cannot mess up. So I walk out and I'm doing the number and doing the thing and blah, blah, blah. And there's like a part in the act where I think we all had like a little bit of a solo moment. So that was super cute. And then here comes the big part, the total reveal. And I remember like just like being filled with so much freaking joy. Just like I was just having so much fun and we're all up there and we're all looking at each other and we're just so happy and we're just like we freaking did it. Like we conquered our fears. We did it. We smashed it. Like just going crazy. And and then of course after you have to like you're just so hyped. Like you're hype. You could be up for like 5, 6 days after that. You're just hype. So we go ahead and like get off the stage and we're all celebrating. We're so happy. And I don't know how to like process the moment, honestly. At that point, I didn't know how to process the moment. I felt overwhelmed, I felt confused. Um, I felt so many different emotions that I was ready to unpack though. I knew I was in a good direction. Um, so and I do want to talk about that in later videos, like the whole thing of shame releasing and self-acceptance and things like that. But so that was with the group act. But of course, since then I've had solo acts. So it's kind of like that all over again. Basically, it's like that same thing all over again, but a little different because, um, okay, so my first solo act was live jazz, and I didn't know what to lean into. I'm just up there and I'm trying really hard to understand the essence of burlesque and what it means to me and what I'm trying to portray. And there's so many things in my head. And I'm like, it was never going to like come together unless I just went out there. Like I knew I had to do it, but my stomach was just like, oh, I was so happy to be up there, but also so freaking nervous. And like, I want people to like my performance, obviously, but I don't know what to do. Like, not really, it's just like being a newborn baby. Like even babies, they're frustrated because they're trying to walk and they're seeing everybody else walk and they're like, I don't know where to start. Okay, I'll just crawl, I guess. And they figure it out, but it's frustrating along the way. And it's like that whenever you start anything new. So I was starting this new thing and, I knew that it was going to be a process. And it's so funny because there's so many memes, like burlesque memes out there, and I'll be so relatable. Like we're all really thinking the same thing. And that's also super magical is the community because we all are, so similar. We're such a unique group of individuals, like, but all with the same, liberation and freedom mindset and things like that. But so, since then, at one point, I was keeping track of my reveals. I actually was keeping track and I lost track. I lost track. And I'm super, super thankful for that because I did not, it was kind of one of those things where I was like, okay, sure, okay, like I did the first one and that was a lot of fun. And then, okay, yeah, I know I for sure want to do another one, but like, okay, okay, I guess I'll do another one. And then, like, I just didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how the process works and how the world works and so I was just always like very hopeful that there would be another opportunity for me to perform and to dance. um and so I've been really exploring my craft and exploring like all parts of my life, and I have gone back into belly dance. I love belly dancing. I love to belly dance. And I want to kind of get back into it again. And that is also a very small community. And there's a lot of burlesque performers who also came from the belly dance community. And I would love to actually make a whole video about that because that actually means a lot to me. I wish I would have written down, like, I just got on like I don't know. I just went and researched documentary after documentary. I watched so many, binge watched so many documentaries. And then I went to the Burlesque Hall of Fame, and I will talk about that experience in another video. But so I had like bukus, bukus, because it's not like you just forget that stuff. Like if you binge watch or binge read something, you may not all process it all at once because that's a crap ton of information. So over time you're processing. Anyway, so um I remember most of the documentaries, even thinking about them right now, have they brought me to tears because First of all, we all want to feel like we are understood as individuals. And for a lot of us, not everyone wakes up and is just comfortable doing what we do. And there's a lot of things um, that are very emotional about this art form in particularly. Um, I have had people come up to me and tell me such wonderful things, and they're in tears because they, I think what I think is they're kind of remembering the fact that life is so simple. Um, and I think that speaks through the art form. Like at the very beginning of time, we were not wearing much clothes because it wasn't shameful. It was just like, the way things were. And over time, we've become so weighed down with so much shame and so much pain, and we've terrorized ourselves. um, but not in a liberating way, in a destructive way. But yeah, that was my experience. But since then, I've had a lot of experiences where, let's see, one of my favorite, it was terrorizing at the time because like I messed up, but I messed up so many times and you just get better at messing up, basically. That's basically how it goes. You literally just get, because it's live entertainment. Most people, you have to put yourself in their shoes. So when you're going to go see a show and somebody on stage messes up, like, are you thinking in your mind, like, ha ha, ha, like, if you are, then you need to work on yourself. But if, if you have a heart and you see somebody struggling up there, most people start clapping and give the performer a boost of confidence that they can continue on the act. And, um, you never know like when something's gonna go wrong. You just don't. Like, so you wanna like you just have to prepare yourself. So there was a time when like I got stuck in my dress. I've been stuck in my corset tons of times. Um I just and not like tons of times, okay? Like it's not like every single I've probably gotten stuck twice. So not tons of times, but um I have a zipper in one of my corsets, and I have, but sometimes I don't want to use a zipper. So, there's all different styles. You can use the strings in the back and things like that. You can switch it up, and I think variety is amazing. So, and then sometimes, things just happen and you have to improv. But yeah, I usually, like, there's been one time where I literally put my finger up in the air and held my finger up and said, like, hold on a minute, basically, while I adjust myself so I can, continue on with what I have left of the song to give you guys a show. And it's not as bad as you think. Uh, but I remember being like, oh, I just like felt so like overwhelmed. And I was like, I messed up. I ruined everything. And so many of us are like that. We're so hard on ourselves. Um, But I try, to work through that and things like that. But yeah, at the time I was like, "No, like I'm never gonna I don't know. I was just like so upset, and I had to work through it. And you work through it and you do the best you can, and that's what art is about. It's about um continuing on because life is art itself in a way, right? So, um that is yeah, that's kind of like the start of my performing life and kind of the beginning of how I got started and that kind of thing. Um, and I will definitely upload more videos as they continue on. And like I said, I want to talk about some of the documentaries that I recommend and things that I've learned from them and other topics as well. So, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.